It's another great day in Northern Illinois. A little bit steamy, a little bit hot, a little bit rainy. Although, actually, I think today's supposed to be kind of cold. But all the rain has been great for my yard. Thank you very much. It's greening up nicely. I love it. I'm waiting for everything to start running around. We've seen bluebirds, we've seen hummingbirds, we've had, butterflies starting to come back. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. So it's been a wonderful season. And Julia's here too. Awesome. And Kathy, hi Kathy, very cool. Okay, so today's topic, we've been covering the book, Opportunity. Hey Margie by Evan Pagan. And my favorite part of the book are all the mental models. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist. And my passion in life is to help women really navigate all the craziness that they're in, from the overstimulation to the relationships where, people have mental health issues, to Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. Good to see you. To all of those sorts of things. And I teach them how their body and mind works so you actually can function. And part of the whole body mind are these mental models. When you have a lot of different mental models that you can look at the world in, through different lenses, you actually become a greater, cooler version of yourself, because now you're not just one person with one identity. Now you can look at a situation and see it from thousands of points of view and then decide what's in your best interest. And so today's mental model that we're going to be covering is how you can screw everything up and still be a great success. So I'm going to start out with how I really started to get into intuition. I read a book on flower essences. Now, if you don't know what flower essences are, there's the idea that everything in our world has a measurable vibration. So hey, Rebecca, good to see you. So flowers have a vibration, you have a vibration, your couch has a vibration, everything has a measurable vibration. It could even just be, color waves bouncing off of it. But there's a wave that's coming off of it that you can, either see or feel or interact with in some way. It's your senses picking up this wave. And many times these waves coming off of things trigger different cells or cell receptors in our body, because we're designed, especially for our emotions hook up with the right cell receptors because they vibrate at the same level. So our emotions, your emotions and your felt senses can be triggered by a million different things, including vibrations that are coming off of something. So the idea behind flower essences is that a flower has a vibration. You float it in water, so the water kind of entrains to that vibration, similar to how clocks entrain together, or women end up on the same cycle month to month if they live together. Your body, the water entrains to the vibration this flower is giving off, and they'll let it soak there for 24 hours. It's not an essential oil. It's not where, the flower becomes one with the water. It's more like the water picks up the vibration. And then you take this flower essence and you ingest it, and it triggers the same sort of emotions. Those different vibrations will trigger different sorts of emotions. So, lilacs or roses or geraniums will all trigger different things inside your body, this water that has this vibration. Pretty cool, huh? Well, a lot of people get into flower essences and they do things intuitively. They say, I'm going to do this from an intuitive sense. What should it be? What should it be? And when I was a kid, because I had so much drama in my upbringing, I didn't trust my intuition at all. In actuality, that really worked in my benefit, because it meant that I questioned a lot of things. I was like, you know what? I know I don't like you, but I found out in the past that people I don't like, I end up liking. Hey, Christine, good to see you. And I've also found out in the past that people I really like aren't in my best interest. Maybe they're just familiar or comfortable. So I was reading this book on flower essences, and one of the things they said is your intuition for flower essences, on how to use them, how they'll help people on an emotional level, is to study them, to read up on them, to read up on what they're used for and the history of them, and find out as much as you can about these flowers. And then you will be able to intuitively diagnose and help people who are dealing with mood disorders or dealing with emotions or past that they're trying to work through. I thought, that's it. That's the key for intuition. That the more you know about a subject, the more intuitive you're going to be about it. But most of the energy work and most of the healing work and things that were put out in the world, we're told to just be intuitive and trust our gut. But how many times have you trusted your gut and it's gotten you into a lot of trouble and it's completely screwed everything up? Me, totally. Until I started to realize that I had to balance what I felt with what my head was also telling me. There was a balance between, hey, Lavinia, there was a balance between, what my gut was saying and what my head was saying. And one of the things that I learned is my intuition tends to be best when I allow it to be counterintuitive. So let me say that again. My intuition is best when I let it be counterintuitive. For most people, intuition is, oh, my heart's leading me in this direction. That's what I have to do. My gut's leading me in this direction. My being is leading me in this direction. And that's the answer. That's my intuition. The challenge with that is your intuition can lead you towards patterns, familiarity, what you were taught. It leads you in the direction that is most familiar with you. And so, it'll be scared when something is out of your comfort zone and comfortable when something is in your comfort zone. But if your comfort zone are things that have kept you stuck or kept you from moving to another level, then you're not going to go anywhere. So Eben talks about how usually the most effective growth tool is typically counterintuitive. That's how we break through to the next level of what's going on. We take a step back, we put all judgmentalisms aside, and we start trying out hypotheses. We throw the spaghetti at the wall and we get feedback from the world to see if it works. And most often, the thing that you thought would never work is the thing that works the best. This really stuck in my mind when I read a research thing on convincing people. I was taking a program. Hey, Julie. I was taking a program on marketing, of course, because it's a topic that's starting to interest me on how people's brains work and how we're influenced. And it was talking about how there was two gentlemen who went to a speaker, and the speakers were, touting some sort of metaphysical something or other. Believe Jesus, or hypnosis or something that this was their shtick. This was the thing they were pushing. And they were in the back saying, you know what, this is crap. None of the science backs it up. Nothing supports your theory enough of what you're saying. And the weird thing is after they argued with somebody, more people signed up for the program. Because in our minds, we want to support the underdog. We want, we're here to learn something, and we don't want anybody telling us that we're wrong or we're stupid or we're crazy. So if I showed up learning, wanting to learn about some complementary method, and somebody said, that's the dumbest idea I ever saw, it actually gains more momentum. So that it'll gain more background and more people when you have somebody bad-mouthing you. It's really cool. Now, to me, that's totally counterintuitive for how I was raised. I was raised to make everybody happy. I was raised to not have conflict. I was raised that you don't want anybody to argue with you. I was raised, and can't we all just get along? And that was my thought process. And in reality, when someone argues with you, it in many ways gains you more followers and more support and more family than you ever thought that you would have. Who knew, right? And a lot of people who end up, let's say, with cancer or with other physical illnesses, they find that people really rally behind them. And they end up with the families and the connections and the love and the support that they never thought they would get, because they didn't realize something as horrible and horrific as cancer would actually heal so many other areas of their life. So, your homework today is to think of something that you've always done. You've done the same way all the time, but it hasn't been working for you. And then try something that's counterintuitive. Try anything. So I had a mentor, a really cool mentor, who, would challenge me all the time because they were just so politically incorrect. And they would say to me, if you don't know what to do, do the thing you haven't done before. It's not about saying, aha, I have the answer, I know how to solve this. It's about saying, you know what? The thing that's going to take me to the next level that I don't think I can reach, whether in my relationship with my spouse or my friends or my job, or with my understanding of self or my health, it's going to be opposite of what I think it is. And I need to keep an open mind and try a wide variety of things and see what works. Because 90% of the time it feels, don't quote me on that, but 90% of the time it feels that the thing that gets us out of our rut is something we would have never considered, never done in a million years, because to us it's just wrong. It's just what you don't do. So, let's say you're doing a speech and you have a couple hecklers in the audience. People will probably end up liking your speech even more, and you'll get more support. Who knew, right? So this is true across the board in a million different situations. So let's stop getting out of I channeled the information, from a higher source, and so it must be true. And let's get into, okay, I channeled the information from a higher source. Now let's check it out in the real world. We've talked about this mental model before, experiential education, where you take your hypothesis, the thing that you've channeled, the information that's absolutely true, and you check it out. You see if it works. If it works and it moves you forward, fabulous. If it doesn't, put it down and channel something different. Yes, invite someone dangerous to tea. That's exactly it, Kathy. Let's start inviting different people who think differently than us and do things in a counterintuitive way and start learning. So, get over yourself. Hey, Kristen. Get over yourself. Get over your arrogance. Get over your intuition. Get over your I channeled it from a higher power. All that stuff is super valid. It really is. But it needs to be checked out with the world. You need to get feedback before you figure out if it's something that's actually viable. Okay? So, that's your homework today. Look at a pattern. Look at something that you're sure will never work. And in some small, don't pick the big ones. Remember, don't pick the epic fails. Pick the medium to the small ones so we can get a track record. Try something you have a pattern about that you thought would never ever work, should never ever work, and try something different and see if it works. I have so many friends who think I'm the looniest, Goonie bird on the island, because when something makes me nervous and uncomfortable, I gravitate towards it. Because it tells me it's outside my comfort zone. It tells me it's going to challenge me to a higher level. And I'm going to become smarter. I'm going to become more compassionate. I'm going to become better at what I do. I'm going to become a bigger impact on the world. And I'm going to create more community. So I tend to live my life in a pretty counterintuitive way. Because I move towards the things that make me uncomfortable. Because I know by doing that, it's going to enrich me and make every moment of my life after that even better. Even the things that are so incredibly scary and hard, I try them out and I move towards them. And when you work it and you work it and you work it, and sometimes it takes a couple years, you realize, wow, this isn't a burden on me anymore. I don't have to carry this anymore. And the weight comes off and you're lighter. And you're able to move more and pivot more and do more because you're no longer shackled by that intuitive, it must be true, that's the way it is belief. So my favorite intuition is If it scares me, if I can make sure that I'll make it relatively safe, and to let go of my judgments, even if I'm judgmental. I like to say, let go of your judgmentalisms, even about your judgmentalisms. You know, be judgmental, but don't take it seriously. All right, so that's your homework for today. Please like, care, share, comment, because this is a community and a tribe we're building. And the more that we can pull us all together, the bigger impact we're going to have. Like those Buddhists that would meditate in Washington, D.C., and the crime rate went down, that's what we're talking about. So let's get as many women, hey Daniel, and as many men who are on this mind, this mind evolution in a practical, pragmatic way. Let's get us all together and really make a movement. Okay, have a great rest of your day. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week because today is Friday. I'm having a turkey fry at my house tonight. I've got friends coming over, so that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.